we're doing after this. We're doing a K100 talks on that guy Andrew Tate, and I wanted to because I didn't, bro. Me and Conan had never heard of this guy.
Oh,
and
really?
then all of a sudden he blew up real fast. Like I guess it was really weird because I follow a lot of stuff on Twitter that this guy, I should have seen this guy or heard mention of him or something. He's a kickboxer. He's, stuff. And then all of a sudden after he got blown up on social media and then got canceled really quick, it's like then I started watching, Chael Sonnen's talking about him, Rogan, just all these guys are talking about him, but like I'd never heard of him. So I went in a rabbit hole and like just a little like to see what this guy was up, and like I'd heard that like kids like love his videos. And like when Conan said he spoke to you, like, hey, you heard about Andrew Tate stuff, and you said, hey, your kid likes his videos.
Yeah.
But his videos, he's kind of like, he calls girls stuff. Like he talks like the way we used to talk, like in the 90s, before toxic masculinity became a thing that quote unquote harms people. Like there's harm in being toxic masculine. Just being a man is being harmful. And it's like I just wonder, like,
how not being a man, being a toxic masculine man,
right? Like being a tough guy, right? Yeah,
well, well, I don't think it's a tough guy. Just being a
toxic masculinity. Let's define it. And you're dead. When we hear toxic masculinity, I'm sure everybody's gonna have different definitions. What do you think toxic masculinity is?
You asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you, Tony.
Yeah, just over the top macho.
What would you consider toxic masculinity, Billy?
I don't think there is such a thing as toxic masculinity. Like I think that masculinity is masculinity. It depends, like in terms of situation by situation. But I think what it's been defined as is sexistness, sexism, or
misogyny.
Or misogyny, or stereotyping, or making assumptions. Yeah, I think it's. Or entitlement.
Here's the problem with it. Okay,
bro, wait a minute. Wait 1 second. There's a lot of guys that fall under the toxic masculinity, Billy. Well, I'm the boss here, and what I say go, and the woman has to go do this, and but I'm a man, and all that. That's toxic masculinity. That's over the top macho.
Okay, but here's what I would say, and this is why it's toxic masculinity is demonized, bro. There's a lot of women attracted to that type of man.
That's cool.
It's very weird. You got feminism is like
some women want to be around a man,
macho,
not some
exactly,
not some simp cuck.
Yeah. Which is
what
why
most men have turned into.
Right, which is why
in the mid 90s they defined the rise of hip hop as toxic masculinity, if you recall. Like,
well, so there was a lot of toxic masculinity in the 90s in hip hop, 100%.
Yeah,
still is.
Let's get
not like before.
Not like before. No.
Hey, what do you?
Not like before.
Some of the videos are still.
Go on a record. Go on a record and call a guy.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Right.
You could do that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time Eminem drops one, he gets called out.
Right. So what do you got, Billy?
Well, I haven't got much news-wise this week. I have like an overriding take, and so news-wise, the only story is that when this next quarterly for WWE is going to be very interesting because all this rehiring of people and everything that's happening and the direction that it's going in, like this is not what Nick Khan made all of these cuts through Vince, and now they're hiring back all the same people. Nick Khan and Vince had a plan to take the WWE off the road completely and only do weekend house shows in major cities, and for WWE to purchase a location to shoot their television out of. So they were going to build their own studio in Orlando and shoot television out of there every Monday. So they would cut down on the $500,000 costs of equipment, transportation, and everything, because they just made so much money during the pandemic by cutting these costs. So that was the business plan, and it seems like everything has been.
So they were. Let me get this right. So they weren't going to tour anymore nationally, except on weekends and maybe pay-per-views, and then tape everything out of Orlando.
Yeah, in a
right.
WWE
right.
owned.
That sounds very boring.
Perfect example, Conan, too. If you look at their live event schedule, they actually refer to the Saturday shows that they're branded now. They're called Saturday Night's Main Event.
Mm-hmm.
Like a house show is branded, said like it's a big deal. And the Sunday one's called what? Sunday Showdown or something? I think that's a branded show. So I think that I think they just want to kind of like do branded shows. Like Saturday Night's Main Event, Sunday Showdown, Monday Night Raw, and Thursday, Friday SmackDown.
Right.
Like it's so like yeah. All right. So keep going.
That was the idea. The idea of coming out of the pandemic was to really hit the touring hard for the next like 12 months, where there would be like a buzz. But essentially, house shows are a money losing venture for most towns. So they wanted to do away with them and just basically hit the big places at the weekends. And even television doesn't make money apart from the TV rights deal. So they were making a lot more money by just basically hosting television, because the equipment, transportation, and everything else to the setup costs more than the ticket revenue. So that's what they were planning to do. Well, they're not doing any of this now. Like just with the rehires and the different outlook on things, Triple H and Stephanie are definitely in charge. So all the corners that Khan's cost, all the budget cuts that he's made, all the plans for extra profit don't seem to be coming to a head. So this is the real story is going to come later on down the line. But for me personally, like, but
Billy, correct me if I'm wrong. Weren't they the one that introduced Tony to Vince, and he was kind of their boy?
What do you mean introduced Tony to Vince?
Not Tony.
Nick.
What's his
Nick?
Nick. My bad. Nick to Vince.
Who's Stephanie and Triple H?
Yeah.
No. Nick was the negotiator Nick negotiated the Fox deal. He worked for a different company. I forget their name now. There was a company who was an agency who negotiated the Fox deal. He worked for them. I forget the name of the company.
But I had read somewhere like that he worked. I could be messing this up. They knew him from The Rock or something like that, and then they introduced him to Vince. I could be wrong.
He may be not by. Joe, can you quickly Google up the agency that Nick Khan worked for before?
Oh, Creative Arts.
Sorry,
he worked for CAC, Creative Arts Agency, right? CAA, yeah.
CAA, okay. So CAA,
that's the big major Hollywood agency.
Yeah.
Right.
So he would have known The Rock through that, and through that was the agency WWE used to negotiate television. So when WWE did the deal with Fox for $2 billion, CAA took 15%. But Nick Khan was credited as being the genius behind the negotiations. So what WWE is, instead of paying 15% of a $2 billion deal to CAA, they hired Nick Khan and just paid him a $3 million salary instead, which is much less. So that's what they decided to do. And also he gets a cut of any of future deals that come about, but it's not 15%. So that's what he's bought in to do now. So he streamlined the whole company and made plans to streamline moving forward in terms of how they would maximize their profits for their shareholders, which is his fiduciary responsibility. And now Triple H is all over it. So the thing that's going to be interesting is that what's going to happen in the future. For Triple H to do this, I would expect a television product that blows my socks off. I'm getting to the point where this is looking like it's not going to be for me. I'm cringing to myself when when Johnny Gargano comes out, a guy that is 5 inches shorter than me, comes out, and guys are in the crowd and they know they're on camera and they're doing this reaction to a midget. Listen, like, no disrespect, like to guys like Mysterio and all the other smaller guys in this business that have gotten themselves over, but I don't see it, and I'm not going to continue to force myself to watch it. I want to continue.
So because of one guy, you're not going to watch the show?
It's not one guy. It's the whole product. It's the whole, like, the way.
Bro, the show's gotten better.
Culture.
Come on, dude.
No, Billy's the same thing as Vince's on this.
That show used to be I don't give a what Billy and Vince think. I'm telling you, the show used to be unwatchable. It was a task and a chore and a bore for me to watch it. I hated watching it. I had to fast forward through the whole and I find myself enjoying it. You don't, that's on you, but I do not agree with you.
It's not a thing in terms of enjoying it or not enjoying it as such. It's an internal.
Bro, the storylines are better. They have more logic, less corny.
There's no 24/7 goofy stuff anymore. You know, they took away the childishness It's the stuff, like the Alexa Bliss being kind of. I think she still got the doll, but
going off the rails, all that they were doing that we hated. The Viking Warriors with the turkey legs, the playing golf, all that stupid that you would watch every week and go, what the is this?
Because
it's got to be for kids.
Because Vince likes juvenile type humor and stuff.
Burying people in their hometowns. You see how over Owens was over in Canada. The bloodline is cracking. Sami Zayn is on point. Kevin Owens. You don't like what Kevin Owens does? You don't like what Sami Zayn does?
You're missing my point, Lloyd, because I'm not saying the show was good before, and I'm not saying the show hasn't got better. I
am.
But I'm not disagreeing with you. I can agree with everything you're saying and still make my point, which is completely different.
Right.
I am starting to get really disconnected with this fan base and the type of people that this is catered to, because when I see that these people in the crowd wetting themselves over Johnny Gargano and putting their hands on their heads and having this overreaction to it, and the WWE knowing that their audience are going to have this reaction to it, this is not an audience that I want to be in. I don't want to watch, and I don't.
Well, you obviously don't like Johnny Gargano, because I'm going to tell you from another perspective. If you're the promoter, okay, you're the booker, right, Billy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're the booker, and let's say Doudrop goes out there, okay, a favorite of Joe Feeney's, and she goes out there and she gets but you like her, but you like Doudrop because she come to work on time, she's a hard worker, whatever, right? You personally like her as a booker and you're trying to push her, and she comes out, but she really doesn't get a reaction, but yet this guy who you refer to as a midget and is really small and whatever other thing you got against him comes out and he gets a huge pop, because I could not believe the pop he got. I was like, well, I guess a lot of people must be watching NXT, because they were going, Johnny,
he won a title. They did an NXT Super Show in that building, and he won a title there.
Okay,
in what was like a 4.5 star match. So that the fans in Canada's crowd is kind of more smart, Mark.
Right.
You could tell that's a smart crowd. They, they'll cheer the Canadians even if they're heels.
I didn't know all that. What I did know is that the guy went into the ring and the place popped really big. And I'm like, okay, well, they got a guy that's over. That's very important, because not everybody gets that type of reaction. So, I mean, who's right? You don't like him because he's small and skinny or whatever, or the crowd that popped when he came out?
I had this conversation. You have the exact same take that Madden does and Vince does and stuff too. But I had this conversation with Madden. And this is why Hunter likes Johnny Gargano. Okay, if you watch going forward, if you watch NXT, Johnny Gargano did a lot of backstage vignettes. Okay, and they look at this guy as like, okay, we can produce a lot of TV with this guy. We can do vignettes with this guy, and he knows how to act. He's not a 8-take guy where we have to cut and stuff. We're comfortable shooting vignettes with this guy, right? And if you're going to shoot a lot of vignettes in the back, you want your guys that can act. Sometimes some of these guys are the smaller guys. Bro, some of these guys are just better actors than some of the more over guys. And it's just like when you're producing television, it's like, perfect example, Karrion Kross is a very easy guy to produce. Because if you're doing a 1.5-minute vignette with the guy, he's going to nail the 1.5 minutes. If you get Johnny Gargano in a 3 to 4 minute vignette in the back where him and his wife are sitting at a dinner table talking and they do a thing where a girl comes like and shoot a soap opera, he can nail that. A lot of guys can't do that. So it's like, you got to like in the realm of like, okay, I'm looking at Johnny Gargano. He's short. He's 5 foot tall. I don't want to watch this guy wrestle.
Bro, you can't. But you can't measure talent by size, dude.
Exactly. Because my point is, if all you want to do is measure this guy by how's he go? I don't want to see this guy in the ring. Well, you're not going to see the guy in the ring that much. You're going to see the guy doing a lot of backstage segments, which is why he got over. Johnny Gargano didn't get over because of his, he was the same as all the other guys there. Adam Cole, Bobby Fish. Like he wrestled just like all those other guys. What's his name? Ciampa and stuff, right? But the guy can act. And they're looking like, okay, when we produce
he didn't look like he could act on Monday. So
I thought it was all right. But I'm just saying, but I'm just telling you the philosophy when they bring a guy like that up. When Hunter has his guys there, it's like, okay, these are my content creators. I got Cross. I know, we're not just doing wrestling. We're doing longer matches, but we're building them up.
But I would
more,
disagree with one thing, Disco. They're not just going to use him to do YouTube.
No, of course, he'll work. But it's like, the gimmick is like, this fan base looks at Johnny, like the smart mark fans look at Johnny Gargano. Oh, Johnny wrestling, 4-star match guy. So, but Hunter's looking at this guy's like, no, this guy's a good guy to use in vignettes. That's the philosophy, and maybe they have
Dude, I'm just tired of it. I already watched Sean and Brett and Benoit and Eddie, and the comparisons between Eddie, Benoit, Sean and Brett, and these talentless midgets is insulting. When I was growing up, I already watched these better people do this, and they were bigger and they were more believable when they were wrestling.
Billy, it's 25 years ago.
I don't need to waste my time watching this again with less talented, smaller people and repeating itself. I don't need to watch this. As soon as Johnny Gargano came off screen, they aired a promo for Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. That was ironic because these are the people that should be in wrestling. In 2007, when I came out of Big Brother and I was offered a wrestling contract and they asked me to wrestle for a company, I didn't go ahead with it because I thought it was going nowhere. I'm 6'1" and bigger than nearly everybody in the WWE, and I didn't do it because I thought that I was small, because I had more respect for this industry than to try and do it. My promo skills were better than everybody else.
Okay, but let me ask you. So,
give me a mic now, and I will be better than everybody else.
All right, Billy.
That's great, though.
So because you're small, it disqualifies you from being a wrestler, bro. That's I don't know what
bro. It's because here's the thing too. What were the numbers?
It's just a 2. What they've been doing ever since.
No, they haven't. They haven't been just doing 2s. They've been doing like 1.9, 1.8 stuff. Now they did a good number.
Well, they've been doing
as a guy that's the thing.
Triple H,
you have to open your mind because there's a lot of stuff I don't like that draws. Okay, there's a lot of stuff I don't like that doesn't draw. But like when we write TV, there'd be stuff you didn't like, and it'd be like, this guy's over though. So what do you do?
Bro, when I was in Lucha Underground,
he's not going to be over when he's out of Toronto. I guarantee you. When he goes to Des Moines, Illinois, or whatever, he's not going to be over.
Iowa.
He won't be over. Trust me.
But if they put him in a good program with AJ Styles or somebody like that, he will get over. But here's the thing: when I was in Lucha Underground, I remember the executive producer would always be asking me, well, what do you think about the match? What do you think the people thought about the match? And I always go by one thing that's never failed me, Billy. I always tell them, listen to the people. They will let you know. I don't even need to watch a match. I don't even need to watch a match. I can be backstage. Somebody will come back and they'll be like, did you see my match? And I go, no, but I heard it. And it was or it was good.
Right.
You can tell. The people will let you know. Don't try to outsmart them. So if they're telling you, hey, we like this guy, then you try to push him. Now, let's see, like you said, let's go out of smart mark Toronto territory and let's see how they react to him in Des Moines, Iowa.
Right. But then again, Billy, you got to understand too. There's one guy in the roster.
It's all these guys that are coming on.
Like who?
And it's the direction that we're. And
they're drawing numbers with these guys. They brought Ciampa up. He is not damaged that number at all. Like you have to look at the numbers. Bro, you got to look at the metrics, Billy. When you're writing for viewers, if you're writing for your own personal taste and interest, and you're not writing for the viewers, you're gonna get stuck in what AEW does. They're gearing towards a certain type of the audience because that's the stuff they like, and their numbers suffer. When you write for the numbers and you write and say, okay, well, does this work? Does this work? Does this work? You look at the numbers, bro. Bringing these guys up has not hurt the numbers.
We're hardcore.
It's helped the numbers.
We're hardcore fans. How many people that are not your age or my age or are much younger didn't grow up watching Eddie Guerrero or Chris Benoit?
Right.
So they don't have a point of reference. Their point of reference is, maybe from I don't know, from the Shield till now, and that's all they know.
It's not the product. It's the people. It's the people that reacted in this way. It's the people that are on Twitter. It's the people like they are now milking out their core audience. They're doing what AEW does. They're not going to get past 2 million. Like Disco keeps saying, oh, it's a good number or whatever. Well, when it goes down,
I think they will. I'll tell you why, Billy, because they do stuff that transcends wrestling. They bring in Logan Paul. They have Dwight Howard at a tryout. They're talking with Cardi B. You know, she was like, "Oh, I was a big fan of Edge and Lita." You know, you couldn't already tell they're gonna work with her, bro. They brought in Bad Bunny. It don't get no bigger than that. You know, so they're always doing you know, they you never know. They brought in Ronda Rousey. You never know. They might bring in Conor McGregor. You know, that's the that they do that keeps them at the forefront, you know?
Right. And they got the money to spend to do stuff like that, you know, when you're making a fortune. And they just sold out Survivor. Like, didn't they set a record in selling out Survivor Series? Like, same day sale or something like that? Or like, bro, the numbers.
And here's another thing. Here's another thing. There's a lot of promotions out there, right, Billy?
Right.
Okay. Tell me one that does everything right. None.
Right.
They all have something that you can complain about. Every single one of them, because you have your vision and the fans have their vision and the promoter has his vision. So, okay, which product do you like the most? Do you like AEW? Do you like WWE? Do you like New Japan? Which one do you like? Because there's a variety of everything. Do you like Lucha Libre? Do you like AAA? Which one do you like?
The Survivor Series tickets, just so you know, DI, practically sold out very quickly, it says, and there's only about 100 or less left on Ticketmaster, and that was in the first day. The first day.
Wow. Yeah, but that's because WWE are doing and same as AEW are doing this fraudulent thing again, where they pretend all the good seats are bought up and then they release them as platinum re-releases for more money. They've got rid of like touting, they're just touting themselves. That's what they did with Clash at the Castle. At Clash at the Castle, they pretended that certain seats are sold out and then tried to re-release them as platinum resale. Which you can go on any site and see. The good seats down the middle or ringside. There's something there that they're still on sale, but they're called platinum resale. But they're buying those up with their own accounts.
Are you going to Clash at the Castle?
Unfortunately, yeah.
How many? Why do you say unfortunately? Isn't Drew on there?
He is, but the card is awful, and I paid a lot more money than my seat. As I said to you, my seat now is available for a third of the price of what it was because they overpriced the show.
How much did you pay for your seat in dollars?
$620.
Holy
for two.
You couldn't find a cheaper one?
$620 a piece for one?
Bro, yeah. With all your connections and all the wrestlers you know, and you couldn't get it. Yeah.
This is fascinating. When you go on the secondary markets, it's unbelievable how much WWE charges for tickets.
Yeah.
Like they're charging for like pay-per-views like what you would pay for like a hockey playoff game or like an NBA playoff game. Like the seats are they're very, very expensive.
Wow.
Like Joe, pull up go look on ticket sales for a Survivor Series.
I went to Man U Liverpool for 1/5 of that this week.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
How was that, by the way, that experience?
Amazing. But I still haven't got my voice back. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's coming back. Right. But yeah, I still haven't. I mean, we protested first, and then went down to the. We actually
you guys protested by sitting in your seats and cheering very loudly for the team and something. What a great protest that was.
The protests were before the game. They had the club shop closed down, so you cost the Glazers like about $2 million in merchandise.
So you're doing what the wrestling fans do.
What?
You're trolling the company, you know.
So
it's not the same thing.
That's the same thing.
Glenn, have I not explained to you what the Glazer situation before?
That's a weird way to protest, like try to cost them money. You know, I don't know.
Hey, let me ask you this: floor seats in Survivor Series, just so you know, suggest. I went to StubHub and looked, and they're ranging from $600 to $2,400 in Boston.
Bro, $2,400 is like an.
That was like second row though.
It's like 40-yard line. 30 rows up for an NFL playoff game. You know. Those are like Super Bowl ticket prices, bro. That's how strong the WWE. Bro, you can sit there. People can hate on the WWE all you want. That's a very strong global brand. You know, like they whatever they do marketing wise, you know, they are doing it right because they are making a fortune. You know, when you see those ticket prices, and then they're selling tickets at exorbitant prices, and like look at Joe. Go now and look at the secondary market for All Out, and I want to see what those tickets are selling for.
Okay.
Yo, what up? This is Konnan, and I host Keeping It 100, my co-host, Disco Inferno, unfortunately.
Well, I'd say you're my co-host.
Listen, every Thursday here on Spreaker, we talk pro wrestling, sports, movies, music, TV, pop culture, and some politics. It's everything the rest of the pro wrestling podcasts are not.
Tune in to hear myself, the superior one, educate and inform.
Tune in to hear me bury disco.
That's very disrespectful.
Join us every Thursday on Spreaker and keep it 100. Boom!